Check this out. There's a literal fire hose of information on AI. And even as a full-time developer, I have trouble keeping up. You know that thing, Moore's Law? It's like, hey, the speed to which the internet's going to speed up is going to get crazier and crazier and crazier. Well, just imagine that, but like 10x it. Like, it is nuts. And if you're a developer and you're on X, you're in this little bubble and you think that all this stuff is just normal. And if you don't know all the terms, that you're outside of it. But guess what? Like 99.9% of planet Earth has no idea about all this crazy stuff that's happening. And it doesn't even matter that they don't know all the terms. It just matters like, how will this help them? Because Goldman Sachs is talking about how 300 million jobs are going to be displaced by 2030. That's kind of crazy. So it's definitely worth knowing. I'm not saying that as like a scare tactic. It's a stat. It's kind of nuts. But we're going to show these terms on the screen. So let's start with LLM. You've maybe heard of it. You know AI because you clicked on this video. But what does that mean? Well, it means large language model. And what that is basically a computer gobbled up a bunch of the internet. Like, we're talking a lot of internet. You think when you're staying up late and you watch a little bit of the internet that you're consuming a lot of internet. Well, take that and multiply it by like 1 trillion, and then you end up with a lot of internet. And that's what LLMs do. That's what they've done. When they're training, they're basically getting really, really good at learning how people talk, how that text lines up word after word after word, because when it goes to respond to something, it is guessing what the next word is. It's really good at guessing though. So that's what an LLM is. And now we're going to talk about what a token is. You probably either think of being at a casino or maybe like crypto scammy stuff. Well, guess what? My fiance was very confused today because we were talking to this new AI model. We were testing it out and I was asking about tokens. She's like, what? You have to pay for this in tokens? No, you don't pay for it in tokens. But a token is kind of like how the computer thinks about words. It's their way of counting words. When I think of the letter CAT or the letter CAT for cat, there's 3 characters in there. That's kind of how we denote things. But an LLM thinks of them in tokens. The easiest way that you could kind of think of this is if you had a sentence like, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Well, that's a really popular sentence in the English language. So if you were going to guess what that last word is, it's probably going to be dog, right? Like, how often are you going to say that the quick brown fox jumps over the A5 Wagyu or like rubber duck or something? You're probably not going to say that. You're probably going to say dog. So it assigns a best guess as to what the next word was. The more the thing trains on, the more information / internet it's gobbled up, the better it's going to be at guessing the word dog. And some LLMs, well, all of them, they have what's called a context window. What does that mean? How much information can be held in a conversation with one of these chatbots before it starts to either stop working or lose its mind, where it's hallucinating? That's another term, hallucinating. It means it's just like making stuff up, but it says it like so confidently that you're like, maybe this thing's right. You could be like, hey, write me a sales email about XYZ, or give me a statistics about this, and that. And it'll come back and just like none of it's right. That's hallucination. But that happens when the context window, AKA the amount of stuff that you can fit into it, it goes beyond it. There's no more capacity. It's like if you went on a flight, you've got this massive golf bag and you're trying to put it in like the little tiny thing and you're like, oh, I can't pay for this bag. It fits in. No, it doesn't fit in there, sir. Go pay the $35 to American Airlines. That's kind of like what a context window is. And so it's kind of how all this stuff like works together. I know we jumped around in the glossary if that's on the screen, but the context window means you can fit a lot of stuff in it. Typically, as they get bigger, the quality of the output, the thing you get back, goes down a little bit. But at the end of the day, these things are getting really good and they're great at guessing the next word. Whether you're writing a sales email or you're trying to get it to finish your homework or you're trying to get it to code for you, it's really good at that because it's very objective. They're really good at guessing. Now, this is probably the juiciest one of them all. And no, this is not an engagement bait to say like, oh, stay till the end. No, the juicy one is prompt. Because when have you heard that word in your entire life before this whole LLM AI stuff came along? Probably never, but now it's like the hottest word under the sun because everyone's like, oh my gosh, if I just get this prompt, if I could just like, I just need the right prompt, I gotta get a prompt. Like they're like freaking out about prompts, and for good reason, because if you're trying to get some sort of thing back from the magical computer, I'm trying to get it. It's like your Zoolander, you're like, it's in the computer, you're like trying to pull it out. Like if you can prompt it the right way, then you can get some magic going, right? But the way I kind of equate this, and having spent like 3.5 years using these things, is you have different levels to this, and it's a different video that I have that I'm putting out soon about like levels of prompting. But in its most basic sense, let's take a sales email, and a level 0 prompt, let's call it like a junior varsity prompt, like we're in high school. A JV prompt would be, write me a sales email. Okay. Well, it's going to like say something, or it might ask you a question about what, but just imagine how weird that'd be. Like if you walked up to someone really smart that like knew your name, but you've never talked to them very much. Like they have no context about your history, your product, your service, whatever it is you're doing. What am I writing this sales email about? And then you say, oh, it's about the car washing business that I have. And then it just like starts, like it'd be like if you were on the street and then that person just starts like spewing stuff at you. And they're like really confident about it, but they don't even know where it is. They don't know what the offer is. They don't know, is it high-end cars, mid cars, low-end cars? Do you have a special going on? Is it open on Sundays? It would just miss all that stuff. And so maybe the bump from the JV, you know, like you did good this year, now you're going to varsity. A varsity one might look a little bit more like role play, like where, you know, if you're imagining you're sitting with somebody and they need to be told what to do, you'd say, hey, look, like I need help with this, I need an edit, this is kind of what we're thinking here, yada yada yada. Well, when you're talking to the computer, it's a little different, and you need to say, hey, like you are an expert sales writing assistant, and I have the following draft for my company. We do X, Y, and Z. And I need you to look at this because our staff editor needs the final that's going to be published in the next hour. And it's really important that these 10,000 customers that we're about to reach out to understand exactly what it is that we're doing, why we're doing it, why it's a benefit to them. Sell the benefits, not the features or the services. Sell the benefits that they're going to get, the pain that they're going to be solved or relieved of. And then here's some examples of some emails that I like. Now that would be way better because we kind of covered these measures where it's like, hey, like I know what I am. Like you're identifying to the computer what they are. Like I'm an editor, okay, and I got to get this out, and I really need to do a good job because like 10,000. I mean, I'm kind of role playing what they're thinking, but you're basically just pulling the ball forward. And you're saying you're doing a little bit more work, right? Like a prompt that you write that's like the level 0 JV thing is going to be like the one-liner, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, it sucks. And you're like, well, no, you just don't know how to use it. And that's fine. Totally is fine. So models. Well, we have covered that word LLM, AI, LLM, needs a rebrand. But the word model, that's the M in LLM. And a model is basically the thing you're talking to. So it's the big glob of internet that got trained on a bunch of computers to figure out how to guess stuff. And there are different types. The one that you're used to, that you probably think of when you clicked on this video, is a chat model. And a chat model is the back and forth, the ping pong game that you play, where it's like, boom, you throw them the ball, they're throwing that thing right back. It might take like 2 seconds max, and they're going to be confident. Those have been around for a long time. I don't know if I'm like aging myself. For anyone that's like over the age of 28, you can think of like Smarter Child from AOL. That thing was kind of like a chat model, but not. Second type of model is a chain of thought model. Now, that's a lot. They're also called reasoning models, thinking models. Maybe thinking is probably the easiest to grasp, but it's like if you threw the ball and then the thing that was catching it, in this case the LLM or the model, it's like gonna catch it and like charge it because it like really wants to throw that ball back, but with like some force, you know, it like thought about it. It's like, I need to throw it over here, and the wind is the barometric pressure and the temperature today, all that stuff. It's thinking through, and I can throw the jargon at you, but it basically takes a little bit of time, and it's going to run in a loop. So instead of it just like throwing it back with like a one-liner or the first version of the output, it will look at what it was going to say and then try again and try again. So it's self-critiquing itself. Not to go off on a tangent, but there are ones that have deep research Now it's going to hold that ball and it's thinking, it's doing its chain of thought thing, and then it's going to go search the internet and come back and then bring that in. So there's like different flavors of all of this stuff, but you just need to know that there's chat models and chain of thought models when it comes to the text generation. And some of the really popular ones that you should consider using, and all these names need a rebrand. I don't know who the high guy was that was naming these, but Anthropic is the company, and they have a model called Claude. Sounds kind of normal until I say 3.5 Sonnet 122425. Like what? But Sonnet has 3.7 and 3.5. 3.7 came out like 2 days ago. I actually made a video about it because I thought it was coming out. And I made the video and then it came out. And then I made another video. Got like 40 views. Huge day for me. But it's fantastic at writing. It's a little more expensive. And the way that they charge by these things is you don't need to worry really. You just, because you're not a developer, but sometimes they charge by the token, aka the number of things that it's going to spit out for developers. But for non-nerds, it's like $20 a month and you get access to the best one, and it's great at writing. So use that one. Don't use any other. Seriously, don't use anything besides Claude for writing. It's just like so good. The second is obviously ChatGPT. It's the one that took the world by storm, and they've got a bunch of different models. All you need to worry about when you're doing chat or chain of thought stuff is, does it have an O in it? And so if you're paying for these, which you should, because you literally get access to like a PhD level thing, and it's like what the cost of like 4 Starbucks or like 1.5 Chipotle burritos, you get access to the best ones. And so their chat ones, I would use O3 Mini. It's like a mix between the chat one and the chain of thought one that's holding the ball a little longer. And so it's going to answer quick, but it's going to have a little bit of reasoning. If you're just using strictly a chat one, then use 4O. That doesn't have an O in front of it, but 4O. And then O1 is the one that is like going to hold that ball for a while. Really think about it. There's different ways that you talk to them as well, but that's for a different video. Lastly, Google. That's worth mentioning. You know, they have gobbled up a lot of internet, and I'm surprised that they haven't done more in this space. They have a bunch of stuff, like, don't get me wrong. They have a lot of models, but they're not very popular. And I think it's probably because they don't have a mobile app that's very good, but they're known for like giant windows. So like they can take all the tokens in and they're like, give them to me. But their writing isn't that great, and I just haven't used it at all. I never use it. So if I needed to take the script of every Harry Potter movie and then ask how many times does Hermione say Wingardium Leviosa, that would be a good use case. I don't know why I'd ever do that though. So I hope that was a good primer on all this nerd stuff, because that's what I like doing. I like taking all that, like, I don't know, 3 years worth of using this stuff all the time, compress it down, because I have all these conversations with my friends, my fiance, where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, but I need to figure out how to translate it really well. And we are benefiting so much from it. Like the amount that I can get done today on Feb 27 versus 2 years ago, 1 year ago, it's astounding. But it took a little bit of time to like figure out how to talk to these things. It's also worth mentioning that there's different models beyond those two types that I mentioned. Like you have video generation, which you guys said it generates videos. You have image generation, which most of them look awful, but I figured out a way that you can take any image that you see and then say, hey, how do I make this? And then you can use that like blob of text that it's going to give you over and over and over again to maintain a style. There's other ones out there. You can just jump from one type of content to another. So if you have written word and you want to go text to speech, you can do that. You can go speech to text. You can go video to speech. I don't know why you'd want to do that. You can go from blog to YouTube. You can go podcast to LinkedIn post, X post to Instagram Reel script, Instagram Reel script to a speech. Like you can just put the word to in between two different types of content. You could do sales email sequence to video sales letter. You could do project overview to 5-page paper. Like it's nuts. There's a ton of different use cases there. Grok 3 also just came out. That's the one that Elon Musk launched, and I had a 30-minute conversation with their doctor, which was kind of wild because I don't know, like it's just one of those things. Like when the iPhone came out and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like I had that moment just now. And so what's interesting about this arms race that we're in is OpenAI is supposed to launch a new model in the next couple of days, and that's going to be a big deal. So I've been calling these as they come out, just because I think people need to know about it. Like, I would make this video so that like my mom could watch it, and it's kind of my like meter. It's like, is this simple enough to know? And yeah. So subscribe to the channel, because what else are you going to do? What else am I going to say? Like the video, dislike it if you disliked it. Just kidding, don't do that. And comment below what your favorite AI use case is. Mine right now is actually just taking a photo of like my fridge and being like, what can I cook that's decent? Video idea generation, not writing the whole thing. Like, I just kind of did this off the top because I know this stuff really well. But if I was doing something that was like research, I'd be doing that. I think, I'll land on it. It's my most used thing is learning software fast. So I just am constantly talking to it, taking screenshots. You can do screenshots in there. You can say, how do I do this? How do I do that? All right, see ya.